Okay, so I made this program for Langston's ant. And if you don't know what Langston's ant is, so you basically have this thing, it's on a pixel, and if it's on a black pixel, it turns 90 degrees counterclockwise. So it basically turns left. So if it's like facing right, it faces up. It's facing up, it faces left, it goes down. So it turns left, and then it turns the color of the square it's on to white, and then it moves forward 1 unit in the direction it's facing. And then when it's on a white square, it turns 90 degrees clockwise, so it turns right, basically, and then flips the color of the square from white to black, and then moves forward 1 unit. So yeah, basically, you can see it starts very random, and then around 11,000 steps, it creates this line. And theoretically, that line is supposed to go on forever, but I made it so that when it reaches the edge of the screen, it wraps back to the opposite side. So yeah, that is basically Langston's ant. But because Langston's ant, like this sort of thing, it can have a lot of customization. I added a couple more things. Okay, so I added this thing where it, instead of changing the black pixel to white, it changes it to uh rainbow, basically, and it cycles through all the colors. So how I did, it doesn't cycle through all the colors, it cycles through all the most saturated colors. So basically how I did that is that I found the formulas for going from HSV, hue, saturation, brightness, to RGB, and you can see with this HSV, hue, saturation, value, when the saturation and the value are at 1 and the hue increases, it cycles through like all this like rainbow effect. So that's basically what I did. This is basically what I did. I made it so that it increases the hue by 1 each time this method is called, converts that to RGB because I'm using Pygame, and there might be a way to do hue saturation value in Pygame, but I don't know that. Probably should have searched that up if it's built in, but I just convert it to RGB. So then because of that, then it's all rainbow, which is pretty cool in my opinion. I also added another feature, which is change to custom color. So change to custom color. So instead of like changing it to white, it changes it to blue. So let me do 00255, and then I can do change to custom color, and then I can put in blue, and then this should work. Yeah. So and then I can also, because I make the background a certain color, I can be like make this like let me add red. So I added red, so I'll make the background red, and then I can also check custom color, and then instead of it's red, and then else change to custom color blue, red. So this should be default Langston's ant, except the background is red and it's blue. So yeah, that's another thing I added to this. And now the thing is that you don't, because of how easy this is to customize, as I just showed, you can make like custom versions of it. So this function, it's instead of doing the default Langston's ant, I made a new thing where if it's green, it rotates counterclockwise and changes it to black, then moves forward 1. If it's red, it rotates clockwise and then changes the custom color to green and then moves forward 1. And if it's else, which in this case it would be if it's black, because the red, green, and black are the only colors being placed, it rotates clockwise and then changes the custom color to red and then moves forward 1. And then that causes this to happen. So yeah, I also made another custom thing, custom ant. I guess I can call them ants, where it's like this. Oh wait, that's actually not that cool. I mean, it's cooler when I increase the speed. Yeah. Look at this. This is pretty cool. And this, if it's black, it does all this stuff, and if it's not, it does that. But yeah, I think this is pretty cool. It was pretty fun making it. I was inspired by this guy named Emergent Garden, who I just found this video he made about he basically made a video discussing like vibe coding, like coding with AI help and stuff. And in that video, he used like Langston's ant as like an example project that he vibe coded. It's actually a pretty interesting video. I'll link in the description, as well as his follow up video where he just discussed Langston's ant by itself. But yeah, I got inspired by the website he made, Langston's ant colony. Yeah, this. So he made his own thing, and I was originally gonna add more features, but I feel like this is like a good place to stop the project because like I feel like satisfied with what I've done with the project. I also am a bit inspired by this website I found while I was doing Langston's Ant, which basically did all the stuff I wanted it to do. This guy named Joseph Petiti. Another interesting thing is that you can add you can add multiple ants really easily. Like let me just add them. We'll do that right now. Boom, and then ant dot Langston's ant, and then oh crap, and then ant 2 dot Langston's ant, and then so yeah, shout out to Emergent Garden for inspiring it, and Joseph Petiti for like showing me a cool example. But yeah, so you can see when there's multiple ants, there's different behavior. Like when there's 2 ants, it does this pattern, which is actually quite interesting. Because it grows, and then when it reaches the edges, it starts shrinking, and then it just does that forever, which I think is pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. I could like mess around with like right now. Like I could do -1 +1. Like how if I did like minus like 100? Then it's like the ants you can see they're like on different sides. Oh, this is cool. Anyway, yeah, that's my project. That's my Langston's ant project, I guess. It's pretty cool in my opinion. Oh yeah, you can also increase the screen size, so I guess I'll just make this 1920 by 1080, and then maybe I could like have all of these on at the same time. That would be a bit interesting. So I want to see how this looks. Hopefully this doesn't like yeah. I guess I'll just leave this here running for a while.